In the last section, we added some code to our index.js file to automatically start up one child anytime we start our server from the command line. When we start up just one child, that's not really doing a whole lot for us. When we have one child, that's basically doing the same thing as just executing our server in normal mode. Because when we have only one child, we still only have one instance of the event loop, and we're not really gaining any performance benefit or anything like that. We can easily start up additional children by simply calling cluster.fork additional times. So if we want to start up, say, 2 or 3 additional children, I can call cluster.fork, 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 like so. I've got 4 calls to cluster.fork. That means that in addition to the first time of executing the index.js file, it will be executed an additional 4 times. And each time, isMaster will be set to false, so we will set up all the express logic that you see right here. Now I want to show you a very practical example of what happens when we start to set up these additional instances. Right now we've got this root route that always has a pause of 5 seconds, as you see right here. I'm going to set up an additional route inside of here. I'm going to say app.get/fast. And then inside this route handler, I'm going to do a res.send, and I'll send back the text, this was fast, like so. So now anytime that we try to get that root route, we're going to have a pause of 5 seconds. And anytime that we try to get the route of /fast, the page will load up, hopefully just about instantly. Remember that at present, we have multiple copies of our server running. Let's try testing out the application as it is right now, and then we're going to come back and remove some of these additional children, and we'll see how quickly we can load up all these different routes that we see. Okay, so let's first remember to restart our server. Okay, that's good. I'll now go back over to my browser. Inside of a second browser window, I'm going to try to navigate to localhost 3000/fast. I'm going to first go back to the first window. I'm going to start to refresh this page, and then I'm going to flip over to that second one, and I'm going to try to load up that second page as fast as I can. So we are now going to make 2 separate requests essentially in parallel, essentially at the same time. Okay, here we go. I'm going to hit 1, 2, 3, refresh. I'll go over and hit enter. And now you notice that over here, I see this was fast, but over here, it still took 5 seconds to load up this page. Now maybe you're thinking, okay, whatever, how is this an improvement at all? Well, remember what happened when we first tried to load up 2 instances of this hi there page with that 5-second delay. When we only had that single instance of the server, we had to wait for that first request to be completed. We had to wait that full 5 seconds before the second 5-second request would even start. So what we just saw was loading 2 separate requests at the same time, and they both went very quickly, or at least I should say the second one went very quickly, because we had 2 separate servers handling each request. Let's now go back over to our index.js file. I'm going to comment out all these additional children that we created, and I'm going to leave it with just 1 child. And then we're going to repeat that same process again. So I'm going to save the file. I'm going to close the running terminal and restart the server. And then I'll go back over to my browser. So this time I'm going to refresh this page, and then very quickly I will tab over here and try to refresh the fast route. And we're going to see that it takes the fast route quite a bit of time to actually load up. And just to prove it, I'll open up my request log over here so we can actually see the amount of time that it takes. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'll refresh. And now we're just sitting here waiting until finally after about 4 seconds, because that's how long the 0.7 second difference here is essentially how long it took me to tab over. So now this time around, we only had the 1 server to handle both of these requests. The first request over here took a super long time to complete. It took that first full 5 seconds. And during that time, our server could do absolutely nothing else, even though we had that incoming request. So this is a very practical example of where clustering can play a huge benefit inside of your application. If you have some routes inside of your app that usually take a while to process, But you have other routes that are very quick. Then by using clustering, you can start up multiple instances of your server that more evenly address all the incoming requests that are coming into your application and have some more predictable response times. Now, it definitely sounds like clustering is the best thing in the world, but there definitely are some corner cases to be aware of. So let's pause right here. We're going to come back to the next video, and I'm going to show you 1 or 2 cases where, well, maybe clustering is a benefit, but it's not quite as much as a benefit as you might be thinking. So quick break, and I'll see you in just a minute.